Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. My name is Cole Kramer, and I am a junior in hospitality management, and it is an honor to welcome you here tonight. Tonight's event is a part of the Helen LeBaron Hilton Endowed Chair Lecture Series, which is hosted by the Department of Apparel, Events, and Hospitality Management, also known as the Awesome Department. Thank you to the department and to the College of Human Sciences for supporting tonight's event. And thank you to the Committee on Lecturers which is also co-sponsoring tonight's event. The Committee of Lecturers is funded by the student government and helps make events like these possible, and also for student government leadership opportunities possible as well. Before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping items to note. This event is scheduled for 1 hour. If you're here for class credit, you will swipe your student ID when the event has concluded outside that door there. And the university bookstore is also selling copies of our speaker's books. Lee Cockrell himself will be signing them after the event has concluded, and there will be refreshments, so we encourage you to come and stay for that unique opportunity as well. Finally, the Committee on Lecturers has asked me to announce a few upcoming events as well. On Thursday, February 7th, join us for the Science of Flirting with Dr. Jeffrey Hall, an expert on communication in romantic relationships. That event will be here at 8:15 p.m. And then on Monday, February 18th, Captain Scott Kelly will speak at Stevens Auditorium about his record-breaking year living aboard the International Space Station. All lecture programs are free and are open to the general public. The full schedule is available on the website lectures.iastate.edu. Now, our speaker this evening, Mr. Lee Cockrell, former Executive Vice President of Operations of the Walt Disney World Resort, has held various executive positions in the hospitality and entertainment business and has authored several books on leadership, management, and customer service excellence. At Disney, Lee led a team of 40,000 cast members and was responsible for the operations of 20 resort hotels, 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, a shopping and entertainment village, and the ESPN Water Sports and Recreation Complex, in addition to their ancillary operations. He also created Disney Great Leader Strategies, which was used to train over 7,000 leaders at the Walt Disney World Resort. His books include Creating Magic, 10 Common Customer Rules, and 10 Common Sense Leadership Strategies from a Life at Disney, and The Customer Rules, the 39 Essential Rules for Delivering Sensational Service. Lee also hosts a weekly podcast and even has an iPhone app. Lee joined the Disney organization back in July of 1990 as the Director of Food and Beverage and Quality Assurance for the Disneyland Paris hotels. Prior to joining the Walt Disney World Resort, he spent 17 years in various executive positions with the Marriott Corporation and 8 years with Hilton Hotels. Today, Lee is the founder of his consulting, seminar, and speaking business, Lee Cockrell, LLC, specializing in leadership, management, and customer service. Lee has served on the Heart of Florida United Way board for 6 years, including being the chairman of the board, a member of the executive committee, and as a campaign chairman for Central Florida. Lee also served as a member on the board of trustees for the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York. He was also a member of the board of directors of the Production and Operations Management Society. And then in 2005, Governor Jeb Bush appointed him to the Governor's Commission on Volunteerism and Community Service. After that, in 2008, Governor Brad Henry of Oklahoma named Lee as a creative ambassador to assist the state in leadership and business development. Lee and his wife Priscilla reside now in Orlando, Florida. Lee enjoys teaching leadership, management, and service excellence seminars, along with traveling, dining out, and most of all, spending time with his 3 grandchildren, Jillian, Margot, and Tristan. It is with great honor and welcoming to you tonight, Mr. Lee Cockrell.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out tonight. I got the lights, so I want to get a little closer and see you. But it's nice to get introduced like that. You know, Lee Cockrell ran Disney World. Sounds like I knew what I was doing. And I tell everybody since I retired, I didn't know what was going on half the time. But I did learn some lessons. And I want to share those with you tonight. Some of the lessons are if you get the right people around you, you don't have to know everything. And that's one of the things I'm really good at. I always get the right people. I take my time hiring them. And at the end of the day, I know it's the most important thing you do in your business out there is get the right people. The other thing I like to talk about a lot is time management, how to spend your time. And we're going to talk about that tonight. But when I was at Disney, I had the best engineer in the world. He took care of all my engineering needs. We do about $1 billion a year in capital projects in Orlando, and he runs all that. We have 5,000 maintenance people, keeping that place clean and safe and looking great, and he took care of all that. And the reason that was important is an engineer's reporting to me, and I dropped out of college after 2 years because I forgot to go to class. That's what 18-year-olds do that are not mature. So I went in the Army. And when I got out of the Army, I went to Washington and got a job at the Washington Hilton and as a banquet waiter. But I looked back on that, having a great engineer. I needed him. And when you need somebody, you better get the best one. And I really focused always getting the best people I could find, no matter how long it took. I had the best retail person. Anybody spend any money at Disney? Oh, yeah. We get that credit card. That's the magic. And you're happy when you go home. That's the second part. And I had a great retail person. And I could have gotten involved because I was the boss, but I let her do her job. I didn't get involved. It's a complex business, retail. And anybody in here got daughters in their family or granddaughters? That's how you make money. You get that princess dress on them, we got you right where we want you for the rest of your life. Because princesses need one thing boys don't need, and that's accessories. So you can sell a lot of extra stuff. Tiaras, shoes, boots, belts, makeup, hair. It's a gold mine. And there's no father or mother can say no to those sweet little things. So that's a good one. Boys, all they want's a plastic sword, so we don't know how to make money out of them yet. But we're working on it. And so I let her do her job. Security. I have security report. We have 1,300 security people in Orlando. It's the safest zip code in America. And I guarantee you that. If you have teenagers and you don't like them, you can leave them with us for a while and come back and get them later. It'll be very safe. Security is a big deal there, and we're all over it. Transportation, 1,200 bus drivers. Complex business. One day I was telling this story, and a lady said to me, well, Lee, if you got all these experts working for you, what do you do? And well, let me tell you, especially to the students, you better be able to answer that question when your boss one day says, what do you do? How do you bring value to our company? Why should we keep you? Why shouldn't I outsource what you do? Why shouldn't I give your responsibility to somebody else and consolidate 2 jobs? What do you do? And you've got to always be thinking about how you add value and be the best. Because I can tell you at the end of the day, if you're great, they'll never ask that question. If you're average, you better worry about it. And you better know how you add value. Being a good leader, a good manager, being able to have hard discussions, make hard decisions. And so I told the lady, I said, well, my title was Executive Vice President of Operations, but it should have been in Chief Environmentalist. And she said, what's that mean? And I said, I think about it a lot. I need to figure out how to use my position, my authority, to create the right kind of place where I spend my time. I don't need to be spending in all these areas, engineering and food and all that. I've got people taking care of that. And I need to figure out how to spend my time. And I've always thought about that. Isolate yourself. Where you spend your time is where you get the results. And I spent my time in 3 areas at Walt Disney World. I didn't worry about the engineers or the retail or the food. That's handled. That's not a big deal. They know what they're doing. But first place I spent my time is making sure we're hiring the right people. And there's nothing more important. I guarantee you. The main reason Disney World's great is because we have great people. It's not about the rides. It's not about the roller coasters. It's not about the theming. It's about the kind of people you run into there and they take care of you. We're very careful who we hire. Even today, these students know if you want to work, you've got to go on the internet and answer a bunch of questions about yourself. We want to know who you are. Do you have it? Are you organized? Do you have discipline? Do you have energy? Do you have stamina? It's hard to work at Disney World, and it's hot. Not like here, but I told people I was having dinner tonight with Elsa and Anna. Some people got it, but I said I had to let it go. So they wanted to go out, and I don't go out late. So, but yeah, this is what I think about all the time. What am I going to do? So I'm very involved in everything to do with hiring. All the systems, the profiling, how we pick people, how we analyze what they're telling us. And when I was there, it's changed since then, but when I was there, if you got through that, you got to go over to the casting center and fill out an application. But before you fill out the application, back when I was there, you had to watch a film about Disney expectations for working there. And I don't know how they do it now exactly. I haven't paid attention much. But let me tell you what, you want to improve your business right away? Be clear with people about the expectations you have before you hire them so they don't take the job and misunderstand that it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. You expect them to be on time, you expect them to be friendly, you expect them to be professional. Clarity of expectations is one of the most powerful things you can do in your business to improve it. Clarity of expectations. Because when you do that, everybody's on the same page. And we are very clear. And if you want to know, ask some of these students who have been in the college program. Our leaders are not bashful about helping you do it the way we trained you to do it. So number one, we hire great people. So we have this film, you start the film, and back in the day it went into hospitality, being nice to the guests, personal appearance, grooming guidelines, no visible tattoos, no visible piercing, no purple hair, no weirdness at all. Cinderella can't have a tattoo on her neck. Mickey can't smoke while he talks to your kids. We're putting on a show. And everybody in this room that's in business, you're putting on a show every day. And you need to know what your role in the show is. And you need to perform it every day. And you need to make sure it's a consistently good performance that keeps going year after year. That's why people come back. It's consistent. So we're very clear about that. At the end of that film, and by the way, I don't care if you have purple hair, I don't care if you have tattoos, just make sure you can cover them up when you're Cinderella or when you're Buzz Lightyear or whoever you are. Because it's a show. Just like any show, you pick the cast to look a certain way. And at the end of that film, 20 to 25% of the people would get up and walk out and decide not to work for Disney because of those expectations. Clarity. And I can tell you, just think about how clear are you right now when you hire people. Do you take the time to make sure? Have you written a list of expectations? Do you go over it with them so there's no lack of clarity? Did any of you have a mother who was clear with you when you were growing up? Remember that? Because mothers don't care if you're happy. They care if you're successful. Mothers, I told students tonight, anytime you want to be a good leader and you wonder what you should do in a difficult situation, manage like a mother. Because mothers get it done. They have empathy and discipline. They love you, and they will kick your little rear end. And they'll kick it again in the morning, and then they'll love you again. And they do it for you, and we have a lot of respect for people who do that. So that's how we hire great people. And second place I spent my time, training. Making sure everybody's getting educated. Training. Not only training, but we train you. Testing. In a lot of positions, you have to be tested. And the managers and the leadership's job is to enforce the training. This is where it breaks down in most businesses in the world. People don't enforce the rules, the regulations. That's why you go out to do business with somebody and nobody knows what they're doing. Their uniform's dirty. They don't know what to say to you. They don't know how to do. I mean, it's, you know, if you go out to do business today, a lot of people have no idea what they're doing. And that's not a good place to be. And we make sure that people get trained at Disney and that we enforce it. There's one way to do things at Disney. That's a Disney way. Now, we're interested in your opinion, but don't implement it until we talk about it. One guy got up and he said, I don't want to work here. This is like the Army. I said, that's right. That's why we got the best Army in the world. Discipline. There's a way to do it. We figure out, and I can tell you in your own businesses, figure out the best way to do something and then do that. Southwest Airlines said a few years ago, there's a best way to land a plane. Why don't we do it that way? Instead of every pilot just going for it. And you got to think of it. There is a best way. And so if you find a better way next week, then you implement that. And when you find a better way, you do implement that. But always figure out the best way and then have everybody do it that way. You have less issues. So training, from the top to the bottom. Everybody gets a lot of training there. And I would think these students will tell you it's going to serve them well in their careers, that they saw a great place doing it, how to do it. And any place they go with Disney on their resume from the college program is going to open doors for them, because people are going to want to talk about Disney more than anything else. And so it's a big deal. Hire them right and train them right. And last, I spent a time in my time at Disney trying to be a good role model for leadership. When you write books about leadership and management and customer service, you got to behave. And that's the hardest thing. The hardest thing for me to do every day is get out of my car and behave. Because I have a tendency to be able to be sarcastic, be daydreaming. My wife told me many years ago, she gave me the best advice ever, and this is the best advice you'll ever get on leadership or parenting. Be careful what you say and do. Everyone's watching and judging you every day, every second. Everybody in this room's got a reputation, and you own it. Be careful what you say and do. And today, more than ever, it's so easy to get in trouble and get it on the internet and ruin your life and ruin your career. And be careful what you say and do. And I think my wife told me that because she suspected I needed to hear that. The other thing I thought a lot about is, what is a leader's job? What is a parent's job? And this is a good one to remember. A leader's job is to do what has to be done, when it has to be done, in the way it should be done, whether you like it or not, and whether they like it or not. It's hard things, doing the hard things, the hard decisions, the hard discussions, doing what you have to do. And if you're a parent, you know that. Do you ever have to have hard discussions? 1 o'clock in the morning, kids come in late and don't do what they're supposed to do. You do what you have to do, and it's for them. It's not for you. And in business, you do it with your kids because you love them so much you can't stand it. If you respect your people in business, you do the same thing. You help them so they can be better. It's not for you, it's for them. And we talk about that a lot. The responsibility of a leader or a parent is to do the hard things and have the hard discussions. And I would say there's a fair amount of parents today that are not doing that. And then they send them to us. They send them to us, and we have to start working with them. It's a responsibility to get people ready for that kind of stuff. So my goal was to create a culture and an environment at Walt Disney World where people wake up in the morning and want to come to work, not have to come. Want to come because they're proud of where they work, how they're respected, included, involved, listened to, their opinion counts. They get training, they get development, they get opportunity to move up. That's the kind of place people want to be. Turnover goes down, performance goes up, customer service goes up when you're in a place where you feel like you matter. And we were trying to create a place where everybody matters and they know they matter. Does anybody know how important? Is it important that everybody know they matter? Is it really? You think we're doing a good job with that in America right now? Are we treating everybody like they matter? No matter what their position is, where they're from, what color they are, what sexual orientation, what religion, what disability? You think we are? We got a long way to go. But I'll tell you, generally at Disney, and I hope the students can confirm this or deny it, but that's a place where that is pretty much the only thing that matters at Disney is performance. We don't care where you went to church. I don't care if you're gay or not gay. I don't care if you're Catholic, Jewish, Muslim. That's none of my business. And it's none of your business. So that's how we think about things. Performance. You perform. I don't care if you have a college degree. Can you do the job? God bless you. That's all we want. And when you don't worry about all that other stuff, let me tell you, just focusing on performance is hard enough. That'll give you enough to do all day long. You don't need to be focused on all this other stuff and that goes on in companies, and we know what they are today. So those are 3 places. Hire them right, train them right, and treat them right. And if you put those 3 things in your business, your organization, you will start to see amazing results. Because when you hire the right people and train them, you're already ahead of everybody else. That means a lot of people, you've got to really be careful who you hire. If you make a mistake, that means deal with it. As we say in business, if you're in business, hire slow and fire fast. We make mistakes. If people don't do the job, then they got to move on. And a lot of those are good people. They're just good people that don't want to perform or won't listen to the feedback they get. And so you have an opportunity there to think about, are you doing those three things in your organizations as well as you could, as well as you should? Could you be better? How many people think you have a great organization? How many people think this university is great? How many people think this university can be better? Of course. And that's the problem working at Disney or a great college like the great university like this. At Disney, man, they're never happy. It's got to be cleaner. It's got to be friendlier. It's got to be less cost. It's got to be more sales. It's got to be more. And that's what you have to do when you're great. If you want to be great and stay great, you got to wake up every morning and figure it out how to be a little bit better today. A little bit cleaner, a little bit friendlier, a little quicker lines, a little better food, nicer housekeepers. Everything matters. And I'll tell you, that's one thing I know and for sure. If you want to be great, everything matters. The shrubbery, the cigarette, the doors are clean, bathrooms are spotless. Everything matters. And when you get to that in your mind, a mindset that everything matters, that's how you become great. If one piece of paper's on the floor, that matters. Pick it up. Everything matters. And that's why you go to Disney World, I hope, and I hope you're treated well there, and I hope you find out. You don't have to be happy to work at Disney. You got to act happy for 8 hours. Happiness is a personal problem. I can't deal with you because your mother did something to you when you were little and you didn't get over it. But don't show it to me when you come to work. Disney's the happiest place on earth or else. You know what I mean? Did your mother ever say, be home by 11 or else? I told the group earlier today, my mother was a terrorist before they had them in the world. She said, be home at 11. She didn't wait till you come home late. She came out and found you. We were in a little town, so we were just in a couple places. Made us get out of the car and get in her car. That was kind of embarrassing. So think about those kinds of things at the end of the day. You set the expectation. If you have high expectations, you'll get high results. If you have high expectations for yourself and for your team, you'll get better results. Set the expectations higher. How many people in this room have high expectations for their children? Anybody? You know how it feels? You'll do anything. You'll do anything. Because we're looking for people who are committed at Disney. Committed. They'll go all the way for the customer. Commitment means you'll go all the way. I'm committed. I'm committed to my children. I'm committed. A lot of people say they're committed to things. But that's a big statement, to be committed, meaning you'll go all the way. Committed to your family. Good. Commitment. That's what we're looking. We're not looking for loyalty. Loyalty just means they show up. I worked with a lot of people. I wish they'd stay home. You know, you ever meet these people? They come in and you wish they didn't. And commitment. You're trying to build commitment. How you build commitment is hire great people, train them, give them opportunities, create a culture where they know they matter, they can grow, they can get better. And in business today, the leadership component is more important than the degree you have, because you'll get more training. As they say, half the stuff you learn in college will be irrelevant by the time you graduate, especially if you're in technology or other businesses that are changing so quick. But as long as you have a great attitude, you have passion, the training will take place wherever you work, and your behaviors are what is going to matter, not what you know, but how do you behave, and how do you build trust, and how do you show you're committed, and those are the things that matter. More people are getting in trouble today in their careers over behavior, not over that not knowing what to do, not knowing how to do their job. And you know that. Just read the paper every day. One damn afternoon, it's behavior, saying inappropriate things, sexual harassment, all these things. It's not about that they're not the best lawyer, or they're not the best accountant, or they're not the best whatever they do. It's behavior. Lack of respect for people. Thinking they're a big deal. So those are the three things. Then we have competencies at Disney. Competencies. We have 4 we focus on. Number 1, technical competence. If you're going to be in the retail business, you got to be an expert. You get a degree, you go out, you get experience, you get exposure, you get better. Technical experience. You're going to be a chef, you got to get experience. You got to be a great. You got to be able to not cook one dinner, you got to be able to get 1,000 dinners out. You got to really know what you're doing. Technical expertise. We all, if you're doing something, you get better at it every year. You own it. You're on top of it. You're going to the right websites. You're going to the right seminars. You're reading the right things so that you are an expert. All the time I get asked, people call me and say, Lee, how can I have a great career like you did? I said, I'll give you. Be better than everybody else. Yeah? That's the best way. Better attitude, a little earlier to work than everybody else. Raise your hand a little more often when the boss needs some help. Be better than everybody else, and you will be noticed. You will be noticed. I don't care where you start. You'll move up because people notice people that do that, and there's a lot of people not trying very hard, and the competition's not that great out there. And by the way, a lot of jobs are available right now. Be better than everybody else in your attitude and in your performance and in your knowledge. Keep learning every day. And today, you got to keep learning every day. But why? Because it's changing so fast. I mean, technology alone you become irrelevant in a couple of months if you don't stay up with what's going on and when to implement it in your company and implement it in your personal life. And you got to really stay relevant, which means you got to have curiosity. You've got to want to get up every day and be better than you were yesterday, and never think you know everything. And that's why we hire those kind of people. And that's why you go to Disney World. It does not operate like it does by accident. It's not. I always, in my first book, Creating Magic, it's not magic that makes Disney World work. It's the way we work that makes it magical. Systems, procedures, operating guidelines, hiring the right people, training, culture. So those are some things to think about. Technical competency. Second competency, management. Being organized and disciplined and having a system where you can get things done, keep your promises, do what you say you're going to do, be credible, set a good example. And then we got these things. Anybody got one of these? This is my Samsung Galaxy 8, my best friend. We go everywhere together. I hold hands with it more than I do my wife. She's pointed that out. Sure, it's great. Great tool. If you think about it as a tool, it's great. The one thing it doesn't do very well, those apps for your task list of how to get things done, what you should be working on now, this week, this month, this year, next year, they don't work that well. And I always ask, anybody in here old enough to remember paper? It's called a planner for you young people. Paper was a product that used to be used. They had books and stuff like that out of them, yeah. This is a planner. I've had this in my pocket for 35 years, let me tell you. If you find me somewhere and this is not with me, something's wrong. If I lose this, I call 911. I mean, literally. I'm not going to give you time management, but I'll tell you a few things you can do. You want to get organized? Get yourself a planner. Open it up every morning. Before you do anything, it's got a place to put to do today. Number one, think about yesterday, every day before you go forward. Think about everything you didn't do as well as you should have yesterday, that conversation you had with somebody, that email you sent to your boss that you need to add 2 more items because on the way home, do you ever go on the way home, think about things you should have done better today? You wish you hadn't said it that way. I should have said that. I forgot to tell him this. Fix yesterday every day. It's called reflection. When you reflect, it goes in your brain. Your brain says next time it happens, hey, we've done this before. Why don't we do it right this time? Because when you think about it, most people don't think anymore. Remember, people used to think? I mean, we don't have time to think. I have to get to Starbucks, get in the car, go to work, blah, blah, blah. Thinking is a pretty interesting, when you think, things actually happen. So, second thing you do is think about the responsibilities in your life. Everybody in this room's got a different list. Depends on how old you are where you are in your career or school. Everybody's got a long list of responsibilities they signed up for. What are they? Anybody in here married, got a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend? I tell you, the best thing you can do is think about them first every day. What are you going to do for them today or this week or this month? Just think about it. What? Put it in here. How many people have children? What are you going to do for your kids this week, this month, this year? Get them signed up for camp next summer? Yes. Get them to their annual physical, get their inoculations. Go up and see their teachers 2 or 3 times a year so the teachers know you care. Talk to them about the birds and the bees when they're 8 or 9 years old. Management is the act of controlling. You want to keep your life under control. This is not about time management. This is about keeping your life under control. All of it. How many people have aging parents and grandparents you're going to have to worry about? How to take care of them, what to do. Have those meetings now, next week. Your parents and grandparents can handle it. You are the problem. They know they're going to die. Go have the meeting, talk about the wills before dementia sets in. Get those things handled. You're doing everybody a favor. Relationships. Keep in touch with people. Don't forget to remind them. Remind yourself to keep in touch with people. Relationships are everything. Your retirement. 90% of Americans retire with a negative net worth because they don't get started. Next thing you know, boom, you're there. I tell people now there's only 4 ages. You're born, 21, you're 65, and you're dead. So you better get with it. I married a 22-year-old. Now I got a 50-year-old son, and I've been married 50 years. Where'd he come from? I have grandchildren that are out of college. They're madly in love with girls. Huh? I was holding them yesterday. What happened? Because that's what happens. You don't get it done. You end up with regrets. I wish I'd have spent more time with my kids. I wish I'd had kept that relationship stronger. I wish I'd have called my mother more often. I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. I wish I'd have gone back and got my MBA or my doctorates, or I wish I'd got my undergraduate degree. You got to be doing things now that pay off later on purpose. You got to do them on purpose. Your health. How many people think your health's your responsibility? It is, by the way. You want to cut health care costs in this country? Get in shape. Go to the buffet once. Actually, don't even go to buffets. And don't go to drive-thrus. They're dangerous. I work out every day. Why? Because after I retired, my wife said, you don't longer have to hire people, you don't have to train them, and you don't have to create a culture for them, Lee. I have 3 new ones for you. Your first one is take care of yourself so you can take care of us. Then you take care of your family, and then you take care of your business. And if you have any time left over, you can help Kim Kardashian with her problems. But don't be wasting time on nonsensical. Don't be wasting time with people that are not good for you. You know? 3 things. I focus on those 3 every day. I work out every day almost, except this week I didn't. I was so depressed from the weather. I came up here Monday and I was closed. A whole state was closed. I mean, have you ever heard of that? I was the last person to get in before they closed the door. Yeah. So think about these kinds of things. I do strength training twice a week. Why do I do that? Bone density. Does anybody know about osteoporosis, bone density? You see a lot of people walking like this? That's core. Why do I do it? I don't want to fall and break a hip, because that's the beginning of the end. My wife does it too. And we do it twice a week, and we hate our trainer. He tortures us. But I'm in better shape than I was now. And the other problem is I'm in the ozone. Does anybody know what the ozone is? The obituary zone. I'm going to be 75 next month. I could go down like that. Look in the paper. 75 is not a good place to be. Look in the obituary section. So you better think about it. You better grab your health, take responsibility for it, get on it. It's never too late. I go to this strength training. We have people come in wheelchairs and walkers, and 3 months later, they're out of them, walking again. Strength. Strength's more important after 50 than aerobics. You better think about it. And I want to go to my granddaughter's wedding. And they adore me, my grandchildren, so I can't leave yet. I'm the only one that'll buy them iPhones. They like me better than their parents. And you don't do it for you, you do it for your family. You do it for your loved ones. Because, come on. You don't take care of yourself, then everybody's going to have to go to the funeral, take the day off. Get healthy. It's never too late to get better in anything. Health, attitude, going back to school, learning more. It's never too late. And too many people think it's too late. Now, it is too late sometimes to start to think about your retirement. Don't want to start that one late because you can't catch up. But most things, it's not too late. Take care of your health. It's the most important. What's more important than dying? Being alive. Dying is kind of a time management problem. Isn't it? We laugh about it, but let me tell you, you own it. You better, I don't care if you can't do it, get a friend, walk every day, start doing some strength training, get your core, get stronger so you don't fall and break that hip, have to have hip surgery, be in a walker or a wheelchair for the next 20 years. Yeah, big deal. So you got to think about where you spend your time. So we got technical competence, we got management competence, and then there's technological competence. You got to keep up with technology or you'll become irrelevant. You got to work hard at it. Get somebody to go to classes. Go to a junior college. Go somewhere and take classes. Get somebody to help you on it so you stay up. And last is leadership competence. How are you going to be that leader that everybody likes to work for, even though you're tough, you're hard, you push people hard, you have high measurement, you have high standards, but they trust you. They trust you because you care about them. They know you're committed to them. And until you're committed to your people, they will not be committed to you. And people know if you're committed or not. Leadership. What's the difference between management and leadership? This is management. This is about how to do things. Put them in here, you get them done, you check them off. That's management, doing, keeping things under control. Leadership's about how to be there for your people, how to be a person of integrity, how to be a person who can have hard discussions, how to be a person who can make hard decisions, how to be a person who is honest, how to be a person who will make the right decisions. Not just a decision, how to be. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people doing a lot in this country and not being a lot. Does anybody think we could be better? Could we be better with each other? Could we? And it's a personal choice. You can be great or you can be average. You own it. And don't blame it on everybody else. So those 4 competencies are important because they're all mixed together. No question. Technical, get your degree, go to college, learn blah, blah, blah. Get organized, get a management system in place so you can take on more, do more, be more. Learn, keep up with technology. And number 4, be a leader. At home, at work. Leadership's not about a title. It's about your own behavior and how you do and how you affect people. And are you responsible and can they count on you? And do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you keep your promises? Are you credible? Are you reliable? That's what leadership's about. And without one of these, you'll have trouble keeping up with it because there's so much coming at us today in the world. It's busier than it used to be. And there's a lot of anxiety going on in this country and depression. It's a big national problem. So you need to get something to help you keep up with it all. It's really, I would say it's one of the vital things you need to do. And I hope they start teaching it in college, more about how to get yourself organized and disciplined and how to take on everything that comes at you. It's a course. You're not born disorganized, right? The doctor doesn't say, well, here's another one. Put them over here in this stack. This is like taking a chemistry course or a math course. You can learn to do this. And it may be one of the most important things you learn. Because if you are the smartest person in the class, but you can't get anything done, you're not going to be successful. If you're not a good leader and you know everything, you're not going to be successful. If you're a nice leader and everybody loves you, but you don't have any technical knowledge, or you don't have technological knowledge, or you're not going to be, you got to do them all. And you got to be thinking about that every day. What are you doing? Are you spending enough time on these 4 in different areas to get better? Better, better, better. Think about those 4. Somebody took some of my time earlier when he was introducing me, so I'm getting it back. So, 4 things we learned at Disney. Customer expectations, guest expectations. We interviewed 6,000 guests. We got the results back. Gallup organized them, evaluated them, and we learned there are 4 things that guests expect. Students expect, passengers expect, patients expect. It doesn't matter what the business is, they're all the same. Number 1, the guest told us when we come to Disney, make us feel special. Is that important in a business? You like professors that make you feel special? You like a nurse and a doctor in the hospital that makes you feel special? Everywhere you go, we all want to be made to feel special. There's nobody that doesn't want that. You go to a nice restaurant and they remember what table you like and the waitress, and learn to make people feel special. In business, particularly. Second, they said, treat me as an individual. When I come to do business with you, if I have some special need, help me get it. Help me take care of it. A child that has a disability, a wheelchair, a special bus, whatever. Treat people as individuals. We all want that. There's nobody in the world that doesn't want to be treated as an individual when you got an issue. Number 3, show respect to me and my family, no matter where we're from, what color we are, what sexual orientation, what religion. Just show respect to people. Is there anybody in here that doesn't want to be respected? I've been around the world. I've never found a person that doesn't want to be respected. And fourth, they said, have knowledgeable people working for you, Disney. Train your people so they know what they're doing. Knowledge and also performance. Safety. And you think about those 4 things in any business you're in out there. You can do that same thing. Teach all your people how to make people feel special. Greet them the minute they come in the door. Be knowledgeable so you can help them with all the merchandise, products. Be an expert because people love to deal with an expert. Treat them as individuals when they got a weird problem. Help them work it out. Show respect to them and train your people. You'll have a great business. That's the guest. What do the employees want? What are their expectations? It's the same. If I'm doing a good job and you're my boss, make me feel special. Tell me. Don't keep it to yourself. Is there anybody in here that doesn't like a little appreciation, recognition, and encouragement? You think we need it? Does anybody need a little encouragement these days? Huh? Absolutely. I named it R in this book. Appreciation, recognition, encouragement. R. It's a fuel. It's the fuel that drives human performance. We all want it. When you give it to people, they soar. They do better. It's how you build self-confidence. It's how you build self-esteem, how help people believe in themselves. Appreciation, recognition, encouragement. I used to tell my wife I loved her annually. But I learned. Somebody said, I'm getting married Sunday. My husband better tell me every day he loves me. I went home that night and Priscilla was standing in the kitchen. I said, Priscilla, I love you. She said, what's going on? Right? Got in a bad habit. You know, the first 5 years I told her all the time I loved her. And then after 10 years, maybe once a week. And then after 20 years, once a month. And then 30 years quarterly. And then 40 years, 50 years, I bought a card and it says I love you on it. It's already pre-printed. Don't throw that card away. It's useless. Take a piece of paper and write your words. The better your words, the less you have to spend on the gift. Didn't know that, guys. See? It's taught you something, save you a lot of money. And it's true. And we talked about it. She and I talked about it, you know. And just that one little change in our relationship made a difference. It matters. It matters. People know they're respected, included, loved. And think about the little things you're not doing anymore that you should do. Everybody tells their kids they love them every time they see them, because you're so committed to them. Priscilla and I were standing out in Carmel once on a cliff. If you've been to Big Sur, our little son was little, and we were just chatting. And I said, you know, Priscilla, if Daniel was about to fall over, would you push him back and take the fall? She said, yeah, absolutely. I said, what if I was about to fall? Well, we'd have to have a meeting. I don't know. Commitment is different than interest. She loves me, but commitment to your children. You'll do anything for them. And that's how you got to think about it. Are you doing the right things? Are you making people feel special at work? Are you treating people as individuals when they got a daycare problem? They need to be off on Wednesdays to go up to school because their kids are having trouble and they need a tutor and they need to go for clinic. Let me tell you, if you haven't had a tragedy in your family yet, don't worry, it's coming. It'll come to your house when you least expect it. You better hope you're in an organization, have family and friends to put their arms around you and get through it. Doesn't care who you are. And treat people as individuals. They'll come back more loyal, more committed than you've ever had in your life. They'll do a great job for you. Number 3, show respect to them. Not forget all this stuff about people. Just treat everybody respectfully. And last, employees want to be trained and developed. Training's one thing. I teach you how to do something. Development's when I have to have a one-on-one conversation with you about your attitude, inappropriate comments, sexual harassment, coming to work late, no attention to detail in your work. And we got a lot of people getting trained in America and not getting developed. And it's development that gets you in trouble. If you don't get the development, that's what gets you fired. It's not the training. Everybody knows what they're doing, they just don't do it. Or they say inappropriate things, or they do inappropriate things. I tell everybody now, if you know a good joke, go in your closet, turn out the light, and tell it to yourself. You can laugh all you want. Don't have anybody in there. Make sure there's nobody in there. Check the recording. Put your phone away so nobody can. Let me tell you, be careful. Treat people as individuals. Make them feel special. Show respect to them and make them knowledgeable. You will have a credible organization. Those 4 simple things. They're simple to say and hard to do because you got to focus on it and you got to do it. So at the end of the day, let me see here. I'm going to quit in a minute. I'm going to tell you one quick story. When I wrote my book, The Customer Rules, I asked my granddaughter, Margot. I said, Margot, she was 12 at the time. She's 20 now. I said, what's the most important rule in customer service, Margot? I need help. I'm writing a book here. She looked at me and said, Pappy, the first rule is just be nice. Huh? You don't need to go to college to know that, do you? Just be nice to people. I turned to my grandson, Tristan. He was 10. I said, Tristan, you want to be in my book? He said, yes, Pappy. I said, you better give me a good quote. What's service mean to you? A 10-year-old looked up at me and said, Pappy, when you serve, you're always the giving one. Who are the giving ones in our society? Our military, first responders, parents, teachers. The giving ones. And we got to sit back and think, are we giving too? My oldest grandson, who just got a degree in biomedical engineering, said, I'll give you one, Pappy. Remember, your tongue's the strongest muscle in your body. Be careful how you use it. You can really hurt people. 3 kids that know more than most adults, or they forgot what they knew. And we need to get back on that track. We don't need to make people's life miserable. It's already miserable enough. The sun ought to shine when they come to work, not wake up in the morning and hate to go to work. Wake up in the morning and be glad to go to work because it's better there, or it's nice there, or people are respected there. And so those are some things to think about. I could go on. I got a couple more stories. I'll save them for the next time. Maybe I'll come in the summer. Summer school here. But it's been great to be here, and I hope that message is good for you. I hope you think about it. I have a podcast. It's called Creating Disney Magic. If you want to listen to it, it's free. Free and discount are the best 2 words in America. It's got 240 episodes. They're 15 minutes every Tuesday on leadership, management, customer service, how to get better at what you do. They cost nothing. All they need is to learn new ways to think about things. And when you start thinking about things, you do differently. When you do differently, you get better results. And half the time, we don't just know what's going on in the world, so we don't do the right things because we never thought about it before. And that's why you got to be really, you got to have a lot of curiosity to keep learning. And as I tell people, if you want to have excellence, you got to get education, experience, and exposure. Those 3 things. Get out of your village and go find the world. There's a big world out there, and most of the people are fine. You don't have to be afraid. But if you stay in the village, and everybody looks like you, and acts like you, and talks like you. I grew up in Oklahoma in the 40s and 50s. You think I ever heard anything inappropriate about anybody in this room? Oh, yeah. And then I left the village, and I found out it wasn't true. Half the stuff your parents tell you is not true. And the other half's up in your brain. You don't even know it's there. So think about deeply, your deepest thoughts. Are they true? Are you treating people right, respectfully? Are we getting caught up in this thing? So those are some good things to think about. We can all be better. I know we can. I know I can. I try to get a little better every day. My wife helps me. She's trying to help me to apologize more sincerely. She's working on that training with me now, and I'm trying to get better at it. So thank you all for coming out tonight. I appreciate it. It's been great to be here. Good to see everybody. Thank you. Are we going to take some questions? Anybody have questions? You want to know something about Cinderella? Or I have connections. Anybody got a question? Anything? Yes, ma'am. That is a planner. They come in all sizes. I happen to have this size because it works for me. There's a smaller one. There are bigger ones. You can use a yellow pad. The point is, are you thinking about what you're going to do every day, and do you have a system? Routine is important. Routine is important. So you got to think about that. Do you have a system in place that gets done what you want to do and you don't have regrets later on in your life? I wish I'd have exercised. I wish I'd told my wife I loved her before she left. I wish I'd spent more time with my son before he grew up. I wish I had done this. I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd have gone back to school and got my degree. I wish I had called my mother more often. Think about what you should do and then make sure you don't have those regrets, because you will. And we all have them eventually. We wish we'd have done things differently. So, yeah, day timer or anything you want to use. I mean, what else? Anybody? Do I have regrets? I have a simple regret that I didn't get a college degree, and I still have nightmares about it. But if I'd have got a college degree, I could have got a really good job. I tell that story, and it really annoys people when I say that. I wouldn't do it again. My grandkids, my son's got his MBA. You can't even get an interview today without a degree. So I was lucky. I was in the 60s, and you could get away with a lot of stuff. But that's a regret. Yeah, that's a big regret. Yeah. I think being married 50 years made up for my mother being married 5 times. So I'm trying to get the family average down. Yeah.
What was your favorite experience working at Disney?
My favorite experience at Disney? Well, certainly it's always fun just to go out in the parks and get out of the office and watch people watching the parade and kids having a ball, and or a mother bringing their son around the first time, their daughter, to see the castle, and mom's crying, the kid could care less. But my proudest moment, I would say, was 9/11. It was a terrible day, but we handled it perfectly. We got everybody out of the parks in 90 minutes. We closed the parks. We took care of them. It was an amazing day, and it was nice to stand back and watch all the cast members do what they had to do. And we handled it, I mean, really, we practice a lot for emergencies. We do simulations 2 or 3 times a year to work ourselves through them for 5 or 6 hours in case of a shooting or this or that. And so we were ready. We just did what we had been trained to do. And I tell you, in your own business, is be ready for a crisis. It's like having a fire drill at home. Or a tornado. Know which room you're going in. It's not time to have a meeting when you got 20 seconds. Plan ahead, and that's what we do. So that was a good day. But Disney was fun on balance. I had a great time because most of our guests are happy. We're not selling oil or gasoline or cigarettes. So 99% of the guests that come are happy. Now, the 1% that aren't happy, that's not fun. Somebody doesn't get to see Mickey Mouse, they want to see me. Or if Cinderella wasn't available, oh man, we've ruined their child's life. They can't sleep anymore. We'd take a beating. You thought you had problems. But Disney's a great place, and we try to make it good for everybody. We work hard at it. What else? And we charge for it. Yes? Yeah, I would say that people who've done the college program have the best shot at getting an internship, frankly, because we've seen them in action. We've seen them work. We know what their work style is. We know what their leadership possibilities are. So they do get it. And we get so many people through the college program, and a lot of them apply for the internship. So, yeah, I think that's probably the right thing to say, yeah. Yes? The greatest what? Well, I think I've learned to not forget how much influence you have on other people. I didn't always know that. I always just thought I was a manager, I'd get things done. And I wasn't very nice to people, and I kind of abused my authority in the early days because I didn't know how to be a good leader. And I now know that we all have huge influence on everybody around us, and we can make life better or we can make it worse. And in my marriage too, same thing, you know. I can go home at night tomorrow when I get home. I can walk in the house and I can make my wife happy or unhappy. And now I pay attention because I'm retired. I got to be there. I can't go to work when things are not going well. So, yeah, I think don't underestimate the influence you have on other people every day. You can make their life better or worse at work and at home. I don't know if any of you are going to go home and create a storm in your house that wasn't there before you got home because you had a stressful day. My son told me when he was 14, Dad, you ought to sit in the hot tub for 15 minutes before you talk to us. Everything was fine until you got here. That was stinging. So your personal influence has a lot to do. Behave yourself and to understand that. So that's the things I think I know more than I did. I just didn't realize early on. Yeah. Anybody else got anything? Dun-dun, dun-dun. Yes.
A lot of people in our generation hear over and over that you're supposed to find your passion and kind of run with it. What would you say to the people who struggle to find their passion?
Well, to me, when she said, how do you find your passion? And they're getting a lot of feedback, students today and young people, to make sure you find something you're passionate about and you wake up every morning excited about. And sometimes it takes a long time to find it. Sometimes you have to go through some difficult jobs and things and then leave. I can't tell you how many lawyers quit their work and go to the Culinary Institute to become chefs. They're so miserable in their jobs. And whatever it is, and it can happen to any of us. It's not what you thought it would be. I would say don't stay there if you wake up every morning wishing it was Friday at 5 o'clock. If you're not waking up excited to go to work and that you're making a difference. I knew at Disney I was making a difference. We were making a difference every day. Our goal there is to make sure every guest who comes there has the most fabulous time in their life. And I think people in healthcare know if they're good, they're making a difference. The nurse, the doctor, the techs, the people in the cafeteria. So sometimes it's a search. You got to find it. Sometimes you may not find it till you're 15 years from now or 10 years. It's life, and you will eventually figure it out. But the thing is, don't stay stuck just because you got a degree or you got experience in that. Don't be afraid to go do something else. You don't want to go through life being miserable for 50 years working. And that's what I think I learned too. I left Hilton. I left Marriott. There's life after Hilton. There was life after Marriott. There was life after being fired once. There was life after Disney. And you can find it. It doesn't matter where you are. You just wake up and I'm happy now. I'm very happy. Yeah, so you find your place, and it's different at different times in your life. You may be happy as can be for the next 10 years, and then all of a sudden you're not happy. Something changes, or something in your family changes, or your health changes, or you never know what's going to come. Life is unpredictable. Yeah.
Who were like the professionals in your life that taught you the lessons that you know now, or who are the most influential people that have taught you?
She says, what are the professionals that taught me what I know now? I did. I had some good mentors that I think two things helped me a lot. People wanted to help me because I have a good attitude. I don't complain about anything, and I'm very reliable. So people come to me. You can't assign a mentor to people. You can't be a mentor unless I see you working, I'm around you, I can give you tell you the truth. If you're going to have a mentor, they need to tell you the truth. My wife's a good mentor. She tells me the truth. And she gives me about a 7. My grandkids rate me a 10. But that's what you've got to think about. I had one guy who helped me not be so defensive. I was very defensive because I was insecure. I didn't have a college degree. I didn't like feedback. I still don't like it. I control it better. I don't like my wife criticizing me, even though I deserve it. So I get, have you ever dealt with people that are defensive and it's never their fault? That would be me. And I had a boss who took me on by the hand, and every time I did it, he stopped me and said, Lee, the whole world does not revolve around Lee Cockerell. This is just a business problem we're talking about. You don't have to get all red in the face and upset and go to battle stations. And he worked me out of that. And my grandmother was a big one in my. She had more empathy than anybody I know. Nicest person in the world. She was my rock. My mother taught us discipline about doing what you say you got to do. Even though she had a few marriages, she taught us discipline. So we were home for dinner on time, and we did our homework, and we did what we're supposed to do. So different people. And you're lucky if somebody grabs you and wants to help you because they watch you, they see you, and they say, wow, I can help. Relationships again. People come to you, you don't go to them. Some companies say we're going to assign you a mentor. That never works. People, it's got to come together kind of organically. And I was lucky to have a couple. And they told me the truth, which unless somebody tells you the truth, they're not much of a mentor. Yes? What would I say? I would say if you really want to have a career with Disney, you graduate and you go down there and you get any job they'll give you. Any job. My son got a degree from Boston University. He started in the parking lot as an hourly employee, and I was fine with that. But when you tell your parents after they paid for 4 years college here that you're a hostess at, Tower of Terror, and they're embarrassed to tell their friends what you're doing, that's the way. You go in and you stay long. You go in young, early, and you stay long. That's the way. Because later on, you won't be able to enter. There's too many people down there waiting. Half the cast members at Disney have a college degree. And they love Florida, they love living there, they love the work, and they want to get ahead. And there's lots of opportunities because Disney's growing. We have a turnover of about 5% a year in management, which is about 400 openings every year. And if you're great, if you're going to clean the bathrooms, you be the best bathroom cleaner they ever had. Then you'll be in charge of the bathroom cleaners. And then you'll want to do something else, go to work in the front desk. You be the best front desk person they ever had. Next thing you know, and that's how it works. I'm telling you, just be great, be consistent, have a great attitude, you will be noticed. But if you're going to stay with Disney, go in early, stay long. Don't try to come in 5 years from now or 10 years. You'll never be happy. That's too bad, but it's the way it is. Somebody says it's not fair. I said, I know, but it's the way it is. Yeah.
What do you feel is the most valuable characteristic of a leader?
For me, to be trusted. To me, trust is everything. You can't go anywhere. I can't work with people I don't trust. So I would say work on people trusting you, doing what you say you're going to do, being reliable, credible, keep your promises, trust. And what else is more important than that in a relationship? If you did a little survey and they say, I kind of trust Lee. A perfect score is a 7 in our rating system at Disney. Well, if you get a 6, the company said a 6 and a 7 is good. No. 6? No. I kind of trust him. Can you kind of trust somebody? That means you don't. I want a 7 on every single one, and I have to behave. I have to conduct myself properly. I have to be open-minded. I have to all the things that build trust, because you can lose it like that. Takes years to get it and lose it in a second. Be careful what you say and do. Yeah. What else? Anybody? Yeah. Let me tell you, I wrote this book for that reason. This is about overcoming obstacles. After you read this book, you would feel sorry for my wife. We've moved 11 times. We've had obstacles. I didn't have a college degree, so I had to work harder. I had to go to classes. Thank God for the internet. Nobody has any excuse for not knowing something you want to know today. If you don't know the definition of a word, and 5 minutes later you don't, that's your fault. If you don't know the country, I had a kid I'm mentoring in Orlando, and I was in Zurich a couple months ago doing a seminar, and when I got back, he texted me, he said, "How was Zurich?" I said, "Oh, it was great." He said, "Where is Zurich?" I texted him back, and I said, "Why don't you pick up that phone out of your pocket and Google it, and then you call me back in 3 minutes and tell me where Zurich is." He texted me in a few minutes and said, "Zurich's in Switzerland, it's beautiful." I said, "That's right. Don't ever ask me another question. You can find out on your own." But he had never thought of this. If you're curious, you'll, whatever you want to know, anything. Your Encyclopedia Britannicas are not in your pocket. And it's current. And now you got to evaluate, is it true? But this is how you got to keep learning. Da-dum. It's really, you know what? Don't get bored with the basics in life. Life is not about technology. Life's about honesty, integrity, doing the right things, cleanliness, friendliness, right? Talking to people instead of texting them. Today, I get requests every day. People write me, with questions. And they never have their phone number on the bottom of the email. First, put your phone number on there. What's your phone number? And then I call them, and I say, "Okay, what?" And then they're in shock. And we just solve it in 5 minutes. It's over. Just texting back and forth and an email back and forth, you spend your life. There's misunderstandings. Just pick up the phone and call people and say, "Here, let's do it." Do it. Get back to talking to people. You can't raise your children with a text. So that's why I don't use overheads or slides. My mother didn't use them. She said, "Look at me when I talk to you." Right? Friends don't let friends use PowerPoint. Seriously. Yeah. What else? You know why I know so much? I'm old. And I'm a grandfather. Old grandfathers know everything. And when you get old, you'll know things now you're going to know more because I told you today. You don't have to get fired and do all the mistakes I made, not get a degree and try to make it. That's why you go to seminars. That's why you go to college, to learn things will make your life better. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody? Yeah.
What distinguishes Disney from like Universal Studios? I don't even know who they're from, but
Don't ever say that again.
I don't go down there.
You never been there?
I've never been to Universal. I've been to.
Well, you shouldn't go there. That's it.
But
The difference, I guarantee you, there's one difference, and it's the culture. It's one difference, it's the people. It's one difference, it's the clarity of expectations and performance. Universal's great. I mean, they're nice. I know a lot of people work over there. I mean, they're nice people. But it takes forever to get the right culture. And then you can either make it better or lose it slowly. That's what, it's just every day when you want a strong culture, you got to be taking care of the people, you got to be listening, you got to be making them feel good, you got to be a good leader, we just have a stronger culture. And ours started in 1928. And Universal came along much later. We had all those years where Mr. Disney set the example. And then his executives set the example, and it's continued. And it's like a family culture. We got family cultures that are a mess, like my mother. And then we got family cultures like mine family that we changed it. You can decide to keep the culture the same in your family and pass it down, or you can change it and make it better. And that's how I think at Disney, we're always on top of respecting people and treating them right. And I just say again, hire them right, train them right, and treat them right. And that's the difference. And have clear expectations. And then you get better performance. And Universal's great, but they can never get our culture, never. Because it would take, it's very complicated culture. It's very complicated. Yeah.
All right, everyone, thank you so much for coming. That will conclude tonight's event. If you do have any other questions or are interested in a book signing, Mr. Cockrell will be signing books on that side of the room. There's a reception. We highly encourage you to take some treats before you go. If you are here for a class, please go swipe your card outside of the Veterans Lounge. That is located near the post office. Look for the gold sign. If we get one more big round of applause for Mr. Cockrell.
Thanks, everybody.